Hello, everybody, and welcome to a Thursday edition of the Computer America Show. And we got a great show planned for you. Again, it's that technology gods thing going on. All of our scheduled guests have backed out at the last minute, so it's making it really difficult. And not only that, tonight we had a second reserve guest, and then the trains went bad, and all the trains, so he was stuck on a train, so he couldn't make it.
All the trains, all over.
All the trains in Chicago
going in. Until showtime.
Going into, there was a bad accident, a train accident, and all the incoming trains to Chicago got suspended for 2 hours. So he was stuck on a train. So that quashed that. However, Marty Winston is going to be here with us. This is his first time on the show, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and he'll be joining us. He may stay for a little bit more than the first hour, but if not, well, then we'll do computer and technology news. That's brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We'll be starting in about 3 minutes. Okay, a lot of chat room activity, I see.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, you are the major domo of promo, aren't you?
Yeah, that's what we do. So... Jack says the Marty himself on tonight's show.
3 minutes until showtime.
Yes.
The Marty what?
The Marty himself on tonight's show, yes, with a smiley face. That's in the chat room. Okay, so you're now the Marty. Okay.
I'm a protosynthesis.
Yes. Okay, so about less than 3 minutes. We're starting.
August 23rd.
Yeah.
Starts a new season of Doctor Who.
Oh, I was never a Doctor Who fan, so that's...
Are they doing a new iteration, or is this just a continuation of another Doctor?
It's continuing with Peter Capaldi as the Doctor.
It's not a reboot. It's not a reboot.
Not a reboot, no.
Oh. Can't believe it. Did not hear from Charles Tendell. Charles he must have got hacked or something at Black Hat.
Maybe he's on the train.
He's not. He's at Black Hat.
2 minutes until showtime.
I even tried to text him. I tried to call him. Just there was nothing, no response. So I'm not sure what's going on there.
Hey, he's out there at the convention.
Myself, this is easy.
He's probably busy.
I guess he must be.
I found my new computer monitor.
You did?
Yes.
Is it 4K?
It's a Philips 28-inch 4K Ultra HD monitor.
Ooh.
It's a 4K computer monitor.
How much?
Under 600.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's very good. What's the frame rate?
1080p.
Wait, if it's 1080, it's not 4K.
No, it's both 3840 by 2160, so a little bit shy of 4K.
Okay. And frame rate?
1 minute until showtime.
1 minute frame rate. Wow.
1 millisecond response time. That's not bad, but the frame rate is not listed on that particular site.
Maybe it doesn't have a frame rate.
60 hertz.
Yeah, 60 hertz. That's it.
That's it.
That means you're going to see tearing.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's
scrolling will make you crazy.
You want to have at least 120 or 240. 60.
So that's where they cut the corner.
I don't think 240s are available in 4K yet, but we'll talk about 4K.
Okay, gentlemen, here we go.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
Hey, Ben. You're here again, which means, I guess, Charles Tendell is not here. Once, it's interesting.
You know, he's been working so hard out at Black Hat and DEF CON and where have you. We've given him the week off.
Yes, I think that's what we're going to do. And we'll just, when he gets back next week, he'll tell us all about what went on, because he's going to be back, next week, and he'll be back on the air on Wednesday. I tried to contact him a number of times, texting, email, voice, and there was no response. So I guess he must be in the thick of it, and we'll just leave it at that at this point. And
if anyone is out there listening to us right now and is at either of those conventions, we are sending out the official SOC. So if you see him, tag him, and we'll be able to pick him up. Geotag him with your smartphone.
There you go.
SOC, by the way, Save Our Charles. And yeah, he's apparently MIA.
He's MIA. Got it. Well, hopefully, as I said, we'll get him back, on Wednesday next week. But it's been an interesting situation here, because I cannot remember a week where we have lost more guests, and not only lost, I mean, they've canceled like at the last minute on the day of their appearance. One of them we were supposed to have Tadao got into a bicycle accident, literally, and is in the hospital, and he was supposed to be on today. Another guest that we invited today, evidently there was a huge train wreck, and all the trains traveling into the city of Chicago were not canceled or stalled wherever they were. He was sitting on the train for 2 hours and longer, so he couldn't be on the show tonight. It was just one thing after another. Fortunately, though, we do have a terrific guest for you tonight. He's never been on the show before. Well, live he hasn't, but you've heard him before if you've been listening to the show on his News Tips Bulletins, or his News Tip Bulletin Reviews. Actually, we'll be talking to him. Marty Lawrence is here with us in this hour. And in the second hour of the show, we will have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. Now, if you want to talk to me or to Ben or to Marty in this first hour, you can give us a call at 347-884-8881. That'll get you on and get you through. 347-884-8881. You can also send us email to live, L-I-V-E, at computeramerica.com. Okay? If Jonathan's saying it's a likely story. If you want to join us in our live interactive IRC chat room, just go to our homepage at computeramerica.com. Right there, you'll see it says chat room /live video. Click that button. It'll ask you for a nickname. You put that in. That's the name you'll be known by when you go in there. Click the sign in button. What is it? It's Connect, the Connect button. And your browser or your Chatzilla or any of the ones that you're using, IRC clients are using, will move you into the chat room where a lot of people are participating. We'd love to have you in there. And, of course, you can also watch the Computer America show. That's right. Sharing the chat room page is our live Computer America video streaming page. And that's brought to you by Other World Computing, quality products, expert support. Since 1988, they're now celebrating their 25th anniversary. If you have any Mac needs, any PC needs, any PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, any hard drives, legacy hard drives for your older systems, they have them there at MacSales.com, and they're incredibly inexpensive. They got great values. Anything you order over $49, you get free ground shipping, which is about 80% of the country. That's 2 days. That's all active. That's all up. Visit them at www.macsales.com. You're going to be glad that you went there. You're going to find some great values. So let's see. Anything else you want to talk about before we bring our guests online here, Ben?
No, I think good to go.
Okay, well, Marty Winston is the editor of the News Tips Bulletin, and he does the News Tip Bulletin review twice a day here on the Computer America Show. One in the first hour, one in the second hour. Matter of fact, you'll be hearing them with them. Maybe he can do them. We can do them in stereo when he does that. But he's here tonight to talk about a variety of subjects, technology subjects too. As I mentioned, he does our weekly News Tips Bulletin review that you hear on the Computer America Show. Marty, welcome into Computer America. How the heck are you?
I'm good, Craig. I have to say, I never expected coming into this place how large and posh the whole thing is. That lobby has to be 200 yards with red velvet carpet. I get it. I thought you'd be in, like a swivel chair with a micro. This guy is sitting on a throne.
We spare no expense here at the show.
Did you like the dolphin? He's on rent from SeaWorld.
That's it,
Oh, it's a dolphin? I'm sorry, I thought the parrot was a ventriloquist.
Oh, no.
No. Well, you can see we're off to a blazing start for the hour, and we got lots of things to talk about. I've known Marty now for quite some time. It's interesting because we have a lot of correspondents here on the show who have been with us for many, many years. And every time I bring them on, I bring one like David Perry. He says, "Oh, I know Marty, for years and years." Tell him, it's everybody I have. They all know They all know you. How do they know you? Where do they know you from?
Well, I'm older than dirt. I've been around the computer industry since before vacuum tubes, and I just came with the woodwork.
Yeah, David Perry was on like a few days ago, and he said, "Oh, tell Marty I said hi." And he's off to Helsinki now. He's got a new job with F-Secure. I don't know if you know that.
He never told me.
Yeah, well, he's with F-Secure now.
Then again, I never know what time Dickie DeBartolo wakes up.
Dick Bartolo. Yes, exactly. And when he heard, Dick was this another correspondent he was on. He said, "Oh, gosh, I know Marty for years." And so it's like, yeah, okay. so it's a small community, I guess. Or you get around.
Yeah, we're shrinking. It's just you and me and 250,000 of our best friends.
That's it. It's just a tight little knit group like that.
Yeah. Well, it will shrink down to Comdex size.
Maybe. Comdex, boy. Now you dredge up things from the past. There's a convention that's.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to live in the past. Most of our life was there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, moving forward, when you.
Yeah, let's move forward. You want to start with something that wants to move forward a lot faster than it should? That's 4K TV.
Yeah, well, 4K TV. Now, what's up with that? 4K TV, that is quote unquote the next thing. I've already heard things about 8K TV, but the thing is, we just got into 1080p, and
I've seen 12K TV,
12K.
But that's used in theaters. That's projector technology.
Right. So, well, obviously they're calling it UHD TV, ultra high definition, which is still the same thing as 4K. It's synonymous, the same thing.
Right. The way to think about it is if you had 4 different HD monitors and you made 2 high and 2 wide, and then you got rid of the lines between them, that's how many pixels are in a 4K image.
Wow, it's like 4 times the resolution.
Yes, it's 4 times the resolution, which also means it's 4 times the bandwidth. It's 4 times the data.
A lot more information.
And that's where you want to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
No broadcast TV station will ever carry 4K TV.
Is that in stone, or is that just for now?
That's forever. You would have to tie 4 different channels together to have enough bandwidth to have 4K programming out there.
Oh, so you're saying broadcasters...
Want to talk about satellite?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Broadcasters will never, NBC, ABC, they'll never have 4K signals, what you're saying. At least not...
They will never have it over the air.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never be able to get it on an antenna.
Yeah.
Cable and fiber systems can, but they won't do it yet. I'll get into that in a second. Satellite won't. And the reason satellite won't is the international treaties that release the bandwidth to the satellites. Very, very tightly constrained.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to carry 4K, they would have to cut the number of channels they offer so dramatically, it just would not be financially worth it to them. It would also mean changing every satellite box on every set for anybody who ever wanted to get it.
What now? Couldn't
Let's
they?
talk-
Couldn't they do like with the DirecTV? They dedicated maybe 1 or 2 channels to the higher resolution. They didn't do it all. They just dedicated 2 channels. And I know they did that, and they changed the boxes with the high definition.
Well, if they use 2 channels for HD, they would use 8 for 4K.
Yeah, so they would use 8. So they would dedicate those 8 for 4K and see what.
Like, I know they tried that with the 3D when the 3D technology first came out, but the viewership on those was just.
Then they went either frame sequential or interstitial, and they were able to get it into a single bandwidth. So you have to be a little more careful about the quality of that particular piece of bandwidth, because if you lose the elbow room, you lose the signal.
So what good are 4K TVs for if you can't use it for broadcast TV?
Oh, no, let's keep talking, because I'm going to take you where you can use it and where it's going to go.
Okay.
And that will certainly provide some useful guideposts on when any one of your listeners wants to be interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
4K won't be on cable anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
Cable can fit it. Fiber can fit it.
Mm-hmm.
But in order for them to put it on that bandwidth, again, it's 4 times the bandwidth. No matter what the carrier is, it's 4 times the bandwidth per channel.
Mm-hmm.
They've made some room. They made room by getting rid of the analog channels. Everything's digital now.
Yes, it is.
So they made a little room, and they could put 4K there, except that to put 4K there in a way that you could get it, they would have to swap your cable box.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Any idea how many cable boxes are out there and what it would cost to swap them?
Well, but not everybody's going to do it. The people there's a certain amount of markets.
But that's a point too. That's a point too. How many people are going to have a 4K set and be likely to buy 4K service from a cable company?
Mm-hmm.
In order to offer it at the head end, in order to be able to send it to the house, they have to have enough demand to just cost justify the changes to the infrastructure at the head end. So it's a critical mass thing. We've seen it so many times in technology. Until there are enough people, it's not happening. So let's talk movies. Blu-ray. Do you like Blu-ray? Would you like to see a 4K movie on Blu-ray?
Yeah.
If it's an hour, it's too long to fit.
On a Blu-ray disc?
But like every medium, a capacity density. You need 40 to 50 gigabytes to fit a full-length movie on a disc. And every one of the major houses that makes DVD players is coming up, and well, I should say Blu-ray DVD players, is coming up with a proposal for a high-density Blu-ray alternative that can handle movie-length 4K content.
Blu-ray too.
And what happens? Blu-ray, sure, why not? Why not call it Super Blue? I don't care what they call it.
Super Blue.
We've seen this in tech so many times.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got their house favorite. Everybody wants to be the winner. But until there's a winner, you might as well not have anybody out there, because nobody in Hollywood is going to go through the expense of duplicating onto a format that hardly anybody has.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's chicken and egg. Once it's in place, once the sets are there, once you can get the DVD players or Blu-ray players or Super Blue or Blue 2 or whatever you want to call them there, then they're starting to be a little more interested.
Let me ask you
at
this.
that point in.
Well, how many years?
Pardon?
How many years did it take it for them to accept high definition HDTV? How long did it take before HDTV was really recognized?
About 7 years, 8 years.
It took about 7 to 8 years till finally it was accepted, and to do it. So, do you think?
Remember the early HD sets at $3,500?
Yeah, I know. The prices came down. There's no question about it. So it'll probably be the same thing, 7 to 8 years for 4K, and then the prices will eventually come down. Do you think it's going to duplicate that, or
it could be. It could be faster. I mean, you'd think they'd learn their lessons, but then we had the whole 3D debacle.
Mm-hmm.
But, let's go to a more useful place. Let's say you want to stream it, right? You want to guess what your bandwidth is for streaming 4K in real time?
What is it?
15 megabits per second.
Okay, well, I have 100 megabits per second, so I can handle it.
Okay. I always heard that from Netflix. you get a cap of 3 megabits a second, and that's for HD streaming. So
And there you go.
so 4 times would be 12.
So
12,
what
15
could happen? What could happen but won't? What could happen is forget real time. Download 40 gigs or 50 gigs and then watch it off a local drive. Now, what little factor might stand in the way of that?
You don't have
your cables.
Digital rights management.
There's its ugly head again.
Yeah. If I'm Disney and I'm putting out a new 4K super duper movie that you've never seen before, and I'm letting people put it on their hard drives, I'm not going to be able to collect for each and every viewer because those copies populate awfully damn fast. We've seen that before. Digital rights management is important. Those people in Hollywood, those creative people, do deserve to get paid. Not all the lawyers, but the creative forces certainly do. I don't have a problem with digital rights management. I do have problems with some parts of it, but, you know, there's always something to grouse about. So if you can't send it over a wire, and you can't send it over the air, and you can't stream it, and you can't put it on a disk, and you're not going to distribute it on hard drives, what is there in 4K? What can you watch? If you had a 4K set today, what could you see on it in 4K? Any ideas?
What?
Video games.
Games. Computer games.
Yes.
If you've got a 4K graphics card, computer games, certainly most of the recent releases from the major houses have 4K modes. Presentations. If your presentation software can drive 4K, you can get a lot of detail on screen. If you're doing CAD camera modeling, again, you've got 4K graphics, you can push it out there. And it's not just that. Sony at CE Week in New York showed a $2,000 Handycam that can do 4K. Next month, Hovercam will have their Solo 8 out, a $350 camera that's on a stand that can do 4K. So 4K from video sources and 4K from computer-based sources can be here now. That can be for real. And it really is interesting that if the gamer population doesn't adopt it broadly and start building that critical mass of monitors to have in place in their homes, if that doesn't happen, the rest of 4K may never come true.
Addison,
the gamers run the game.
Addison in the chat room says Blu-ray is dead. He says he doesn't even know anyone with a Blu-ray drive and a PC today. Maybe not
I have
PC.
4.
Yeah, well, okay, Addison,
Yeah.
Marty has 4, but
You're the one throwing off the bell curve.
yeah, exactly. I have a Blu-ray player, but ask me the last time when I used it. I mean, the point is, of course, I never really collected CDs and DVDs and everything. I wasn't a huge collector anyway. However, I think that the using that optical media as a storage place for your movies, I think is really dying. I mean, because of the ability to download and things like Netflix and what have you, streaming.
Well, everything changes in tech. Bandwidth gets cheaper, storage gets cheaper, and the market has sweet spots that come in and come out. I don't know that it's gone away. Netflix still does a decent business in Blu-ray by mail, and Blu-ray is still at many stores. Best Buy still has a bunch of Blu-ray. Target has Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So
I'm not saying they're disappearing.
Blu-ray is still a convenience, and it's all under $100.
Yeah, exactly.
Why not?
Yeah, you can get a smart Blu-ray player. So not only is it Blu-ray, but it does Netflix and does all the other things that that you can do. If your smart TV doesn't have the smarts built in it, you can do it through your Blu-ray player.
If you go to $150, you've got Blu-ray, smart Blu-ray, Wi-Fi, and 3D.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So.
By the way, 4K projectors next year. We're back into presentations again. That's not a bad thing. If you can look at projection and see detail, if you can look at a projection and have a lot more viewable, legible data on the screen. That's not a bad thing. Right now, you know, one of the things that I like about the most recent projectors is that they're finally getting decent brightness on the order of 3,000 lumens from projectors powered by LEDs.
That is very bright.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and you're now dealing with something with an LED in it that is bright enough to go beyond from the desk to the wall of the cubicle.
LEDs, the technology behind LEDs have improved so vastly. I mean, I have an LED flashlight that, you know, could blind you. It's so incredibly bright. You know, the power of these LEDs, they've enhanced them so much. You know, no one uses incandescent lighting anymore.
Well, that's not entirely true.
All right.
12% is the penetration of. In fact, I have it from EPA somewhere. 12% of residential energy demand is lighting.
No.
70% of all sockets nationwide still house an inefficient bulb.
No. I'm not talking about residential lighting. That's another story. No, I'm just talking about things in projectors and they're
projectors and flashlights and utility lights and all that stuff. Sure, even street lights.
Yeah, exactly. They're all using LED lighting now. LED lighting, I think, is.
However,
yes.
There's always a gotcha, right? Oh, gotcha.
Uh-huh.
Lumens.
Mm-hmm.
Lumens are like telling me the horsepower of the engine.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Candelas.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much brightness is actually delivered.
Mm-hmm.
That's like how fast you got the thing to go.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of lumens don't always mean a lot of candelas. And I think we can do a little thought experiment. Everybody who's graduated high school has gone through this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember in physics class where you drew a parabola and made the lines come from the focal point, bounce off the wall of the parabola, and then go out, and oh my gosh, it's a parallel tube going forward like a white pipe.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Well, that's true if the focal point is a point. But no focal point in actual flashlights is a point. In LED emitters, it's the size of the surface area of that diode. The diodes that have all those lumens, 800, 1200 lumens, have to be bigger because they have to dissipate heat. You need more surface area to dissipate heat,
Mm-hmm.
which means the edges of it are farther and farther from the focal point. Smaller emitters, those that are around 300, 350 lumens, are a lot easier to tame with optics and focus into useful light. And a great way to think about this is to look at the beam. Look at how much is in the solid white core where the flashlight hits a wall, and how much is in that halo surrounding it. You can tell if you have a high lumen count, over about 600 these days. If you have a high lumen count, you're going to see a lot more of the light in that halo, in that ring, a lot less of the light in the effective illuminating white core of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really easy. I've talked to guys in the LED component business, and they say they get harangued by the flashlight companies all the time, and all they're getting asked for is a lower price on the diode and a higher lumen count to put on the box. It's never with the boxes and the public about how much light ends up being useful. No one ever tells them how much of the light is being wasted. It's all about, I know lumens. Hey, this has more.
Mm-hmm.
It's, caveat emptor, I guess.
Yeah. Oh well. But you know, you're finding. I'm seeing more and more of these little flashlights out that put out an incredible beam of light. And
oh, absolutely. But the Tootsie Roll size ones, I call them that because they have. Remember chapstick?
Yeah.
There's a chapstick size lithium-ion battery, the 18650.
Mm-hmm.
That is the battery in these things. You can recharge it over and over and over. It's got incredible energy density.
Mm-hmm.
And a flashlight the size of a Tootsie Roll can put a hot beam out 1,200 feet. and keep it running for hours in the right kind of flashlight design, like the one you have, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. They and they're incredibly, they, as I say, they run cool and they last a long time and great battery life.
Not as useful as a bludgeoning object like the big ones that you keep in the back of your car in case you ever break down.
Well, you can have those. They can be LED lights, flashlights too. I know what you're talking about. They have LED versions of those now too.
Oh yeah, I've got one on my desk.
Yeah.
Don't attack me, buddy.
But getting back to 4K here, so
Sure.
and Blu-ray disc players, I know that you can still rent movies and they still have the red box and they're still out there and people still do use them, but I think less and less, because if you have a computer you can rent. You can play pay-per-view or you can rent the movie, for a day or two. And it will be competitively priced. It'll probably be cheaper actually, and you don't have to spend the gas or anything to go get the thing or to return it. I mean, when it's done, basically it just goes away.
Right. I mean, convenience is always a factor in entertainment. For the cost of buying a pay-per-view on your cable system, you can probably go to a movie theater on a Monday.
Right.
If it came to that.
Right.
So yeah, there is all kinds of trade-offs. One thing I want to mention about 4K though, and we saw this when HD first came out. I'm probably the only guy you're ever going to see who goes from 4K set to 4K set with a magnifying glass.
Okay.
Everyone else.
Yeah.
Everyone else is laid back, looking at them. Oh man, that's a good picture. That picture looks like a picture. It's a picture. Yeah, la-di-da. Go buy a jigsaw puzzle. It's a picture too. When you go in close and you look at the pixel pattern. Pixels are in rows and columns. It's a matrix. And when you look at the pattern, it's a lot like looking at a picture through a screen door. And in the very best current sets, which will tend to be HD today, not 4K today, believe it or not, in the very best of the current sets, if you look through a magnifying glass, you'll see that the pixels are large and very close to each other, edge to edge. So it looks like your screen door is made of a very fine wire. As I looked at the 4K sets at CE Week in New York in June, it looked like a very fat wire. The pixels were small and they were spaced. That's a very common cheat in the television business. If you can't accomplish really good pixel density, then you go for a bigger pixel count because you've got more room for error. I know 4K could be an almost Kodachrome, almost fluid kind of image. You could probably do that if you did it in OLED, for example, organic LED. But that would be expensive, and the organics in an OLED eventually die. The brighter you make the display, the sooner it dies on you. So watch it. I mean, if you're happy with what you see, never mind the tech junk I throw at you. Buy it and be happy.
Exactly. I mean, you can go crazy with all the technical specs and everything. Just if you find something that's pleasing to your eye, that you like, that looks good, and then go for it. Because there's.
I did that once. Yeah. Married her.
Exactly. And
that's flattering right there. That's I like that.
Yeah. So you're saying yes, people should go out and buy 4K TVs at this point, or not, or not?
Well, I think if they have content for it, anybody involved in video. In fact, I'm going to bring this home in about half a second. Anybody involved in video who's going to stay involved in video or want to look in the future at the video they're taking now. Yeah, go get 4K. Get a 4K camera. Get a 4K display and work with it. If you have a kid and the kid's 1 or 3 or 7 or any given age, they're never going to be that age again.
Right.
And when you take the video now and you go look at it 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you want to have a compromised image? You want to have the best image possible. Bring back a more complete memory.
Yeah. No. Then you go with that. Hey, listen, Marty, we're at the bottom of the hour, and we're going to take a little quick break. And we're going to have you listen to us on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network. Marty Winston is here with us. We're actually going to hear a news tip bulletin review from him, too, when we come back. Stay with us.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No hair removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No hair removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Hi again, it's Marty Winston for Computer America with a News Tips Bullet Review of MSDN. That's the Microsoft Developers Network. It gets fairly geeky, and mostly it's IT guys who go there, and developers, guys who write programming. But it's not so geeky that it's not within the ken of at least several of you, so we thought we'd take another look. A new Windows PC build put us back in touch with Microsoft's PR agency to request a renewal for our MSDN subscription. As usual, that took months, but it also gave us an opportunity to see how the service has changed. The available downloads now span 11 terabytes of files, well beyond Windows and Office, with Azure and Microsoft Dynamics CRM and Visual Studio and Windows Phone developer tools. Filters let you narrow the pick list to a specific architecture, 32-bit or 64-bit. File extension, EXE for direct launch or ISO for burning disks. A language, a product family. One of the top tabs takes you to a list of claimed product keys and says how many remain unclaimed. Bottom line, today, MSDN offers more downloads and more convenience than ever. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. 33 minutes past the hour. Marty Winston here with us, and you just heard his News Tip Bulletin Review. Always good to listen to those. And by the way, we're talking about 4K TVs and of the sort. And right before the break, Marty outlined that to kind of, if it's something that you really, know that you're going to keep around and invest in, in the future, 4K TV, if you shoot it now, you'll probably thank yourself later for it. I mean, I know for a fact that my parents have videotapes of myself when I was a baby, and they're on VHS, and I really do wish they jumped on the Betamax train, because the quality would have been so much better.
Well, we can convert them over, to DVDs.
No, to Betamax, but they went with VHS. I don't blame them. They did the best they thought they could, but, learn from our mistakes. So.
Well, you should know VHS was adopted.
Oh, okay. And no, but 4K TV, it's not, or at least from what I hear from you, it's not gimmicky. It's probably going to come around or stick around, longer than 3D did.
Well, 3D was kind of
yeah. That's easy.
Yeah, 3D was pretty much another debacle. I mean, although if you bought a 3D TV, the only thing that you can tell yourself that will make you feel good is that the picture typically on a 3D TV was a better picture in 2D. You'll get a better image, you'll get a better picture, but that's about, I think, the only.
Well, there are a couple of things to recognize about 3D TV.
Mm-hmm.
When 3D TV was first launched, if you got every bit of content that was available in 3D and started playing it on a Saturday morning, you'd be Sunday afternoon and through it all. These days, you're good for 3 or 4 weeks, maybe a month.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's growing, so 3D isn't quite dead. It's just kind of like no longer a rocket.
Like Monty Python, not dead yet dead.
Yeah, and DirecTV still has dedicated 3D channels for if you have a 3D TV.
No, so does Comcast. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
One other point, and this is important, I think, to the camera market. A lot of people today think that they don't need or want a camera other than the one in a smartphone, and that's fine for a lot of what you do, but most of the sales of cameras and photographic and video related stuff is kids. From birth through the wedding reception, that's what's being shot. So parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, siblings, spouses, buying, as we said, and like those VHS tapes, you're never going to be that age again. Capture it now so you can remember it, unless, of course, you never liked the kid to begin with.
Okay.
We hope you. We hope they do. We hope they do.
Yeah. All right. So, but I'm correct in saying that the images, the picture on a 3D TV was a good resolution.
Depending on technology, yes.
Yeah, it was a better resolution.
I mean, in 3D had to put 2 images. It's still stereoscopic. It had to put 2 images in the frame, and it would have not been possible to do that if there wasn't crispness in the individual images.
Right.
So yes, the 2D effect on a 3D set does tend to be better than on most 2D sets.
Exactly. Okay, so that's the one saving grace. If you never watch another 3D picture on your 3D TV, know that the 2D images that you're watching really are very high quality. So it's not a total waste or total loss. That's.
Well, we might also want to talk about 3D as an intelligence test for the marketers.
Okay.
The theory we all heard and the hype we all got was that consumers want 3D. They really want to watch things in 3D. Well, if that were true, you wouldn't be able to walk into a store anywhere without passing by a brand new rack of brand new releases of ViewMaster discs. That didn't happen. People don't really want to watch that much 3D.
No, ViewMaster, no. That's a little slide thing on a wheel that you would click and just see in stereoscopic. Yeah, exactly.
The update of the Stereopticon.
Yeah. All right, so let's move to a slightly different topic here, because I think we've got more. Although LED lighting, let's talk a little bit more about that, because we did kind of brush over that, and I do want to get into maybe the status of LED lighting. Because
let's start with the question: LED. Why does it matter?
No, it matters. No, I mean, when you go into a Home Depot or a Best Buy now, they have LED bulbs, and you can see them improving. I mean, a year back at this time, they were incredibly expensive, and also, for example, most all of them were not dimmable. So if you had a dimmable lighting system or anything, you couldn't use them. Now LED bulbs are more of them are coming out. They're making them dimmable. Now the next thing is
and three-way bulbs are out too.
And three-way versions, yes, they're coming out too as well. However, the prices are coming down somewhat. certainly a year.
Oh, yes.
So the prices are coming
and brightness
down.
is going up.
And
I mean, 100 watt equivalents are out there now, and they weren't out there a year ago.
Exactly. That's an excellent point. You can now get 100 watt equivalents, and I stress the word equivalent because 100 watts on an LED is only like about 13 or 14, actual watts. I mean, so the energy you get the energy saving so that you also get the durability, the longevity of these bulbs, because you buy one of these things, supposedly they're going to last somewhere about 20 years or 25 years. I've seen it on the box, where they
right, based on 3 hours a night, which is not unreasonable.
Right, exactly. So you're going to get an enormous amount of length of time. There's a very good chance that the LED bulb you buy today, you're going to die with. Maybe the next generation will have to replace them. But pretty much when you buy bulbs,
have you ever heard of the Mafia lifetime guarantee?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's going to be a long time before you ever have to change your bulbs out again.
True, but there's another factor here that people really don't understand. So, news break. You heard it here first. Any bulb technology, any lighting technology in the home, has a power requirement beyond the power to light the bulb. Because every bulb technology puts out between 30 and 35%, let me reword that. It's going to cost you 30 to 35% more in power than the power for lighting to cope with the heat that the bulb emits.
Right.
If you have a 100 watt incandescent bulb, by the time you've cooled down from the heat it creates, you've used 130 watts.
Yeah, exactly. But LED lights don't generate that kind of heat.
Well, it's still 30%, but it's 30% of 12.
Yeah, exactly. 30%
of 100.
I've had an LED light bulb on, and then I can use my hand to unscrew it after you turn it off, and it doesn't burn the fingertips. So they're relatively cool. They're energy efficient. They last a heck of a long time, and the price is coming down to the point where it's becoming feasible.
$5 to $10.
Yeah. It's coming down in price, and they'll continue to drop in price, I believe. And I've always maintained that it's not compact fluorescent lighting. It is LED lighting is going to be the light of the future. I don't see anything else that's going to compete with it at this point. And I know
the other technologies we're not going to see them.
Yeah, exactly. No, we're not. So I think LED light bulbs are going to be the way of the future. Basically, it's going to the point you buy a home, you put the LED bulbs and everything, and you're never going to have to buy another light bulb again probably for the good portion of your lifetime. So. Or
if it's a new home, you won't be using bulbs at all.
What? Oh, you mean
they can be dedicated light panels at that point.
Light panels, yeah. All right, and there's that too. But I'm saying for the most part, for the light bulb industry, okay. I think LED lighting is probably the way it's going to. Now I know in our home, I'm slowly switching over to complex fluorescence. I've done a lot of that. We have a lot of lights in our home. Okay, so it's not an easy. The other thing is that the halogen bulbs, the little halogens, the G, was it the G, GF? What do they call it? Anyway, they're
GE Reveal.
No. They're little with the two prongs, and it looks like a little cone.
The bipin.
Yeah, the bipin. Yeah. We have a lot of those kind of lights in our home, and they're just starting to come out with LED lights in that form factor. But those I don't think are not dimmable yet. So you have to wait.
They are indeed. You brought something up, and I don't think you realized it. I want you to think about all the sockets that are out there.
Yeah.
I want you to think about a bulb that lasts 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
I want you to think that 30% of all those sockets already have LEDs in them. There's going to be a point in, 5, 6 years?
Yeah.
When 100% of those sockets are going to have LEDs in them. And that's going to leave another 10 years, 15 years, when there aren't many sockets that are going to need light bulbs.
Well.
So the lighting industry, by being successful with LED bulbs now, may end up starving itself in the future.
That's true. They make all the profit up front, and then that's it. You sell the bulb, and that's it.
Maybe they could come up with new places to put light bulbs, because before it would just be prohibitive to put lights somewhere.
Well, not only that, light bulbs, supposedly incandescent light bulbs, supposed to be illegal after a certain time. They're going to stop making them, right? I mean, as a condition of law.
Well, it's not the technology itself, but it's a certain efficiency level that became illegal for manufacture.
Mm-hmm.
They can still be imported, and there is a heck of a lot of hoarding going on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Still though, eventually you're going to have to convert over.
If you do the math, I got to tell you, if you do the math,
mm-hmm.
take a look at the total cost of the power, the
mm-hmm.
total cost of the bulb,
mm-hmm.
and there's always a point, usually somewhere between just short of 2 years to just long of 4 years, at which not going with LEDs is costing you significant money.
Mm-hmm.
Pay the damages now. Pay up front to put them in, and your costs go down forever after.
That's true. That's true. In the average home, that's not a big problem. In our home, we have so many lights. It's going to be hellacious to change them all to LEDs. But
how many people are in the house, Greg?
Well, right now, just myself and my wife. But the point is, when we have the kids over.
Fine. So 2 flashlights, you're done.
Get some of those, old world lanterns they see on the infomercials.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you might as well put fireflies in a bottle.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that's the state of LED lighting, I think.
But actually, real quick, I don't think the industry is going to starve itself out. I mean, when they run out of houses to put lights in, they're going to say, wouldn't it be really cool if all the roads in the U.S. were lit up with LEDs? And then they're going to put them in places that you didn't even think to put them.
That's been going on for years already.
Exactly. Yeah, they're going to keep coming up with places to put lights.
If you take a look at streets and parking lots, here's how to tell you you've got LED lights up there. I mean, high intensity discharge, HID lighting, sodium vapor, mercury vapor, the things you're used to seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Easy to spot because, first of all, unless it's a special housing, they have uplighting, things that bounce off the clouds overhead.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the ground under the light, there's a hot white pool surrounded by a darker area. If it's LED lighting, it's like they painted the whole damn thing. It's like no dark spots, nowhere for bad guys to hide.
Yeah.
In a parking lot, that is such a security plus. And it's kind of funny. You've got a lot of secondary and tertiary brands who are competing to be those parking lot lights or structure lights or architectural lights. And they don't pay as much attention to things like the color temperature. If you put a daily color temperature set of lights in a parking lot, neighbor's going to hate it. It's like always having morning next door.
Mm.
If you put a warm white in, kind of like, your grandma's dining room,
mm-hmm.
everything turns kind of amber. You don't see real colors. You really want to have it somewhere between those. For guys who follow this kind of stuff, maybe around 4,000 Kelvin.
Kelvin, yeah, exactly. Well, 5,000 Kelvin is really bright white, so
5,000 is approaching daylight.
Yes, exactly. So you get.
And it's not that it's brighter; it's just got more blue in it.
We have 3,700 Kelvin. It seems to be the nice average.
Yeah, that's a good compromise. A lot of the soft white you see is between 2,300 and 2,700. And traditionally, tungsten was considered warm white at 3,200.
Mm-hmm.
So, who's taking notes? We're going to have to quiz. But I think the point I wanted to make about color temperature, if you happen to have a crime happening in that parking lot and it's witnessed, you're going to be asked for the color of the clothing the perpetrator was wearing and the color of the vehicle that was driven away. And if you're under a warm white, you're going to get those wrong. It's going to add that amber tint and take away the blue response. So you're not going to be able to accurately report what the color is. And that's one of the reasons security concern. That and having dark spots if you have the wrong technology. But no, LEDs are there. And the reason LEDs are there, there's something we don't consider when it comes to bulbs in the house. Because, you got to change a bulb, you climb the ladder, you change the bulb, you're done. Or you stand tiptoe on the chair and you change the bulb and you're done. But if you're in an office, or if you're in a factory, or if you're in a large building or any kind of outdoor area, the cost of changing that bulb is a lot more significant. You've got a specific employee who's not making a minimum bulb in and come back down again. The cost of changing that bulb in labor is more than the cost of the bulb or the power. So the conversion to LED lighting architecturally in structures and large buildings and offices and in other such places where accountants get involved, that adoption has been a lot faster than for residents.
Okay. Marty, we have a number of other topics I want to talk to you about a little bit here and in the technology arena, and you know, I want to talk a little bit about UPS power backup. You know, a lot of things are running on batteries now. Laptops run on them, but we still have desktops. So UPS backup power is still a necessary thing, is it not?
Yeah, for a desktop. And you know, some homes never have a desktop, and they think they don't need backup power.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to think about this. All they think about is what's at arm's length, that keyboard and that screen. And the power can go out, and that's still lit up.
Mm-hmm.
But then what can it do? Because they never think about where the wire comes in the wall, the cable modem, the router, the Wi-Fi.
That's right.
Whatever else is there.
Yep.
Those things need backup. You need to back up.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
That portal.
I did that purposely. I would pull the plug, you know, from the wall to see what, you know, to make sure that the necessary devices. Now, I'm not talking about the printer. You know, the printer, okay, that's one thing. But you know, but the Wi-Fi, the router, the internet, the cable modem, you know,
the microwave.
No, not the microwave. And you know, I had everything on, and I forgot that I had the cable modem. I had to put a UPS on that so that wouldn't die. So now when there's a power outage, everything still works because there are all the necessary components are on an uninterruptible power supply. That's what we're talking about here. And
that's right. And now, I don't want people to. There's a misconception that these are generators.
Yeah, they're not.
That they're going to keep you up until the power comes.
No.
Well, most of the time it does, because most power outages are less than a second.
Right.
And that's fine. These things are good for, depending on how much you're loading it, between 8 and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Sometimes 40 or 50 if you really load it lightly.
Yeah. They allow you to
I want to make it very clear.
Yeah, they allow you to do a proper shutdown, right?
It will do that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference is you'll get a soft landing instead of a crash landing.
Exactly. Yeah. So if the lights are flickering on and off, you know, and obviously that you have a problem, well, you can then shut everything down, do it normally, do a proper shutdown, and then you're fine. And then you wait till everything comes back on and it stays on, and then you can power back up and continue doing your work. That's
you sound like a guy who's been there a few times.
Yeah, really. A UPS is not for you just to you know, oh, I'm just going to work right through the blackout. No, because you know how long it's going to last. If everything goes out and they stays out for more than a minute, you realize, okay, I don't have power. Then shut everything down and do it properly, and the UPS will allow you to do that. And then when everything goes back up, power back up. Mm-hmm.
I have a personal UPS story you may enjoy.
Okay, go for it.
I came in during a power outage and got very aggravated when the garage door wouldn't open.
They make garage doors now that have a battery backup. I've seen those. They actually brag about
they
those.
They do, but for less money than that,
yeah.
I'm going to give you a magic number, 825.
Okay.
I got a CyberPower 825 VA backup unit.
Mm-hmm.
Plugged it in the outlet on the ceiling, plugged the garage door opener into it.
Yeah.
Push the button.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It worked.
When with the UPS unplugged from the wall, I brought the door up once, down once, up a second time, down a second. I did 5 cycles, and the UPS didn't quit. I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you really want to be thorough, and if you want to be able to get into the house, because I want to remind you, if the power's out, chances are the weather's none too good. Right?
Yeah.
If you want to be in that dry garage when you leave the car, just find a way to strap one of these up there.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good thing to have. But as I do say, a lot of the a number of garage door manufacturers do make with the battery backup. But you're right. If you don't, you don't have to go out and get a new one. You can just as you said, put like a cyber power.
Right.
Yeah, and you're fine. Exactly. So everything running on battery, you still do need a UPS backup power for the things that don't. That's an important.
Right, unless you're in some magical place where you get Wi-Fi from somebody on a generator, for example. You're weird anyway, so don't worry about what we're telling you.
Yeah. Okay. So we're talking about batteries, and battery backup. What about batteries themselves?
Oh, batteries! Oh my God, batteries are such a wonderful place. AA cells. How long have those been around? Right.
Long time.
And when they first came out, they were the same kind of battery that your grandpa used in his flashlight.
Yes.
Just smaller. It was that, not quite lead acid, but that kind of early technology.
From the 1800s.
And then there was heavy duty, and you thought that would run a little while longer, and it might run a little while longer, but not much. And then came alkaline, and then came lithium and some other stuff. Well, I just learned something in the last week. The patent on lithium AA cells. And you know the brand that offers lithium.
Yeah.
That patent's about to expire. The other brands are going to have lithium cells soon as well, and those have much better power density. They cost a little more. It's usually worth it. And what's important is they don't fade as much. The voltage over their lifespan tends to stay higher, which means for a lot of critical electronics that are dependent on voltage because it's solid state and you have to have junction jumps and all that kind of stuff, that kind of gear will keep working longer without having you change batteries. But there's something even better than that. Now, everything's device dependent, and that is lithium-ion and lithium polymer batteries. Lithium-ion is inside most of the gear you have, and lithium polymer is probably inside your smartphone. But there are also standard cells. There's a non-rechargeable cell that came out of the camera business, the CR123A. A lot of those LED flashlights we talked about use those. Some small laser devices and cameras use those. But there's another battery that's just about twice as long and just a tiny bit thicker called the 18650. The 18650, again, I mentioned before, about the size of chapstick. The 18650 lets a lot of Tootsie Roll size flashlights deliver incredible amounts of power for incredible amounts of time, and then they're rechargeable. You're not buying a new one all the time. 18650s are also used in some of the new power pucks, the things you recharge so that you carry them with you, and if your phone fades, you plug it in, your phone gets recharged from this little portable puck thing.
Yeah, Marty. So, I have a question for you though. I mean, you mentioned a lot of the
unusual.
A lot of the battery that we use were, from the 1800s. The technology hadn't changed much, but we're getting into these. I'm waiting for some sort of quantum leap here. Is there anything, you keep hearing about? I hear about this battery that the NEC developed, and it was going to change the world as we know it. Never heard from them again. You keep hearing about all these incredible batteries coming, and then they disappear. I mean, when are we going to get some sort of,
They went to that magic place where the car that runs on water and emits vapor went.
I'm not saying we don't need nuclear batteries, but what I'm saying.
Well, don't forget the sodium chloride cell.
Yeah.
You know about the sodium chloride cell?
No. Well, but the question.
That's good.
Yeah.
You would be super geeky to know that. The sodium chloride cell was a theoretical battery that ran the gear on the original Star Trek.
Oh, okay. All right, there you go. Well, what I'm talking about, is there any battery technology down the road in the foreseeable future that holds some sort of promise? Because our smartphones and things, we have so much ability to do, but we can't do it because of the power requirements of these devices. The batteries just don't last long.
Well, the answer is sort of, kind of, but not the leap you want.
Okay, well, here's we're up against the break, and so I'm going to ask you to stay with us for another half hour, okay, Marty? if that's okay with you.
As long as you want.
Okay.
As long as you want.
All right, so we've got Marty Winston, the editor of the News Tips Bulletin, and does our News Tip Bulletin review. He's going to stay with us for another half hour. We're going to talk about batteries now, batteries of the future, and maybe talk a little bit about the Internet of Things, too, with him. And then, of course, we'll have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities. That's all coming in hour 2 of the Computer America Show. Stay with us.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host,
Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And we continue on with Marty.
I'm bored.
Going back with Marty Winston, he's decided to stay with us for another half an hour. We're talking to him about some, it's a fun show. We're having a lot
How could you be bored? We're talking about batteries.
Batteries, and yes, exactly, and 4K TVs.
I'm sorry. I thought we were doing deep voices in the break.
No. And again, if you have a question or comment for Monty, you can give us a call at 347-884-8881. Email is live at computeramerica.com. Our chat room at computeramerica.com is there as well. And, of course, our live computer video streaming brought to you by Otherworld Computing. Just head over to computeramerica.com. You can see all of those. So, yeah, Marty, so I asked you just before the break, batteries, are we going to see
You're
anything?
looking for a quantum leap in battery capacity and performance.
Or something, some sort of leap. Yeah, exactly.
Because you can't get your smartphone to vibrate for more than an hour without running out of charge.
Right. Well, there's that too. I mean, but I'm looking more for another. Oh, we got another 3 minutes. Oh, okay, great. No, I want something that's longer. It's going to make an impression. Is there anything on the horizon?
There are several aspects to this, and let me say first, a lot of what I'm reading about that has some portent for advancement is still at the laboratory, not at production or even pre-production.
Yeah.
And they're dealing with changes primarily in the electrolyte, because batteries are still chemical engines.
Mm-hmm.
And they're looking at ways to improve the energy transfer through the electrolyte and the charge density and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that leads to 2 completely separate places that you need to understand to know where all this is going. One is, and you're looking for something simple. How do I make more happen with this battery and make it happen longer? And that comes down to power density, energy density. But you also want your smartphone to be thinner, which means you've got less volume in it to fit that battery, no matter what its technology, no matter what millennium you pull it from. It's got to fit that specific amount of elbow room that's in there for it. So that is the first constraint on how much power you can possibly tote with you. And the second thing is, phones are nowhere near as efficient as they could be in their electronics and in the firmware and software that governs their electronics. Anybody out there, raise your hands. I know Craig's done this before. Anybody out there with a pre-3 Galaxy S model, Galaxy S2, 1, 3, whatever?
No.
You might have noticed the Bluetooth Smart or Bluetooth 4 LE isn't well, let's say, installed there. They tried over and over, but the battery drain was unacceptable, so it has not been deployed in the operating system. It's finally coming out in October, give or take. Who knows what dates are with cell phone people. October, give or take, you should be able to get that to happen. I'm guessing, I think they probably went to a completely different approach in silicon to manifesting it. Whatever happened, it was using too much energy, and they could not allow the overall performance of the phone to drain as the battery drained. So you're dealing with a phone that is nowhere near as efficient as it could be because they're replacing the models rather than improving them so much. Yeah, they'll upgrade the technology as they go a little bit, but it's like sandpaper on a cruiser. It's not going to do it all at once. Yeah, the battery technology is getting a little better, but remember, the batteries that are in these phones are using rare earths. Rare earths come from a very limited number of places, and they're fairly expensive to pull out. Putting even rarer earths in doesn't change a damn thing, and that's why the labs are trying to work on the things that are not rare earths, trying different.
Why can't they come up with a nuclear? Why can't they come up with a nuclear battery of some sort? Not we're worried about radiation, but something that's on a molecular level that could generate power on a more
Batteries are on a molecular level. It's all chemistry.
Yeah, well, get away from the chemistry is what I'm saying. Go to physics. Go to
Greg, I'd like to see your science to back up that statement you just threw out there.
What I'm saying,
Why couldn't they do something I don't understand just to make everything go away?
Well, I mean, can't they? I mean, that's why I'm saying the quantum leap. A totally different direction.
Well,
yeah.
The only comment I want to say, which has nothing to do with batteries, is August 23rd. Everybody, August 23rd, the new season of Doctor Who.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Hoping the next quantum leap will be the leap home.
Exactly. No, that was not Doctor Who. That was who was that?
No, that
was Leap or something.
Quantum Leap. That was Quantum Leap. Yeah, exactly. So basically, that's all that's about to change. There's nothing really significant, is what you're saying. There are going to be some things, but
no giant leaps.
No.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
You might just try taking a second phone with you.
Yeah.
By the way, that's another point. If you do not have an iPhone, and yes, I will grant you that not having an iPhone doesn't mean you've passed an intelligence test. If you do not have an iPhone, your phone has a battery in it that's not much larger than a saltine. You can buy a spare battery for cheap. You can keep the spare battery charged, and you can swap batteries and be back at full charge in seconds. You could carry power pucks if you want, but carrying spare batteries might be smarter for you. If you've got iPhone, you're stuck with the puck.
Yep. Maybe the iPhone 6 will have interchangeable batteries.
Yeah, maybe the iPhone 6 will levitate.
Yeah, maybe.
I thought that was like one of Apple's design philosophies was to make a built-in battery and just everything enclosed so you couldn't swap things out.
Well, that's closed systems have long been a part of Apple's philosophy, but that doesn't mean it's not evil.
True.
Or it doesn't mean that it's evil.
Well, we're going to have a philosophy show now?
Philosophy America.
Why is evil?
Okay. All right, well...
You want to talk about robots?
Sure, why not?
First floor cleaning robot was what, the Roomba?
Yes, the Roomba.
Certainly the first commercial success,
Yeah.
iRobot Roomba. And by the way, I just had an iRobot Looj, L-O-O-J, which is a gutter cleaning robot.
I had an Ibo.
And that thing... a what?
A Sony Ibo, little dog, robotic dog. Yeah.
That doesn't clean gutters.
No, but it's a robot.
But I want to point out there's one thing about these robots that really draws my attention. I've been writing about robotics for decades. I'm fascinated by little changes they make in navigation. The first Roomba came out. Remember the Pong game where the dot just bounced off the walls
Sure.
and you moved your paddle to make it bounce a little differently? Well, that's how these things navigated rooms. They'd go bounce off the walls. It was like watching a Pong dot. Eventually, they would try to hit every little square in the room, but a lot of them got cleaned 18 times, and some got cleaned none at all, and then the battery died and you took it back to the nest. Every one of them, not every one of them, but so many of them now claim to have vision systems. And some of them are, and some of them aren't, and some of them are a little better. You know, a lot of them still work on, if I hit something, I'm changing direction, just a bumper. build those for a little less money. Some of them have actual cameras built in them, but the cameras really aren't doing very much. They're looking for mostly light spots and contrast spots on a ceiling to try to determine more or less where they are in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that makes it a little easier for them to anticipate walls and chairs and things. And sometimes they are back to bouncing off walls. There was one, it's made by Nito Robotics, one of the better names in the business. I'm not telling you it's a better brand, I just think it's a cool name.
Uh-huh.
I haven't had it into test, can't tell you if it's better brand. It uses a LiDAR, which is like radar, but using a laser. And this turret on the top rotates this laser LiDAR thing. By the way, a stack of LiDARs is what makes the Google self-driving car do a lot of its navigation.
Uh-huh.
This has one. It rotates 5 times a second. And it's not just telling where the walls are. It's taking measurements. It's mapping the entire room. Anything that's at that roughly 3-inch height of the LiDAR shows up as an obstacle. So it's not going to hit chair legs. Anything that's a little bit taller, like the underside of a couch,
Mm-hmm.
it figures no sweat. It'll scoot right under and clean under there. But what's really nice about the navigation on this one, and this it strikes me as novel that they're the only ones to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly in the room, you've got a little micro map of where you are and where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
This one has enough memory, and it's got a whole bunch of little ARM-level processors in it. It doesn't just map the one room. It maps the room and the hall and the next room and the entire level.
Mm.
It also has some downward-facing sensors to determine when it's about to go topple over the stairs, and it stops itself from doing that. So I think that's kind of cool. I still think it's primitive. I still think for a lot of people it's not necessarily the best decision. But it's still growing, and you know, you have to decide in your house if you get a Hoover or a Dyson or this little fruitcake side thing that goes around. Certainly not going to have enough suction to compete with a Dyson,
no.
But it doesn't involve your time at all. You can send it around, do a room, do the next room, come back, recharge, keep going, come back, recharge, keep going. By the end of the week, it's been over those spots 4 or 5 times. It's ultimately done as much work as a high vacuum stick size you push around vacuum cleaner. Mm-hmm. So for a lot of people, especially houses without kids or pets, for a lot of people, it just means you don't have to worry about that damn vacuum anymore.
Okay.
See, that's my big problem is I have giant hairy dogs, and, you know, I'm sure if I got one of these little Roombas, I'd come home one day and I'd just be, you know, flopped over on its back, little smoke coming out from the bottom of it because it's sucked up too much dog hair. It just rolled over.
Dog hair
funny.
is insidious. I mean, dog hair gets into everything, and Ben makes a good point. I mean, it really does.
It does, but you know, they make little brushes, and the dog really loves when you brush them. So spend some time brushing the dog, and you'll spend a lot less time pulling it out of the rotor underneath any kind of vacuum.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, if they could outfit the Roomba for the yard, you know, the one that cuts your grass, if they could just modify that one to do dog hair, that'd be perfect.
Well, you know, they do have vacuum.
Well, you could also.
They do.
Go ahead.
They do have vacuum cleaners. What's the one I just saw recently that was designed for dogs? And when the little spinner thing got clogged with dog hair, you push a button on it, and it's like little blades come out, so it just chops up the hair.
Oh, that sounds deadly. I want it.
And it sucks it back up, so it really doesn't get plugged up, which I thought was kind of cool, you know.
So what's next? You go to Craig's house, and the little robot doesn't like you, and it comes at you swinging its way.
Not the same thing. It was Eureka makes it actually.
Craig has like the signs like "Beware dogs," is "Beware bladed Roombas."
Exactly. but it actually works quite. It actually works quite well. I mean, so because that's one of the things with our vacuum cleaner here is because the little thing that spins gets clogged up, and you have to pull it out almost every time you use it because it gets the dog hair just gets into it. So,
you know, you'll find life is so much easier if you just brush the dog.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, how much time do you spend pulling the hair out of the vacuum?
Yeah,
right?
If you just brush the dog. I don't know.
I'm going to say, in my defense, easier said than done.
Exactly. So what do you mean when you talk about the Internet of Things? And we've had Intel talking about the Internet of Things, and is there anything people should be worried about regarding the Internet of Things?
Yeah, there's plenty to worry about.
Okay.
Think about what you're connecting to the Internet when you connect something to the Internet of Things. And you may not think of it as the Internet of Things if the thing is just telling you, use your smartphone to turn us off remotely. Right? If you can use a smartphone to turn it off remotely, hackers can use something to turn it off remotely. I mean, for goodness sake, they just stole 1.2 billion passwords. Hackers who want to get at stuff in your house have a lot easier time getting in if you've got stuff in your house connected to the Internet of Things, and not just your computer. Your computer can be off. But if you have a nanny cam, for example, or if you have video on one of these little robot things, and you happen to have put your credit card bill in the wastebasket, it can read that and steal your identity. If they really want to cause trouble, and you have Internet of Things connected door locks, it doesn't take much for them to unlock a door and get somebody they know in your neighborhood to stop in and help themselves. If they really want to be mean, there are sequences that can happen with your power being turned on and off, which happens now with radio frequencies, now that the meters have remote read on them. Your gas being turned on and off. It is possible. I don't know the exact sequence, and it doesn't work for everybody, but if you have the sweet spot combination of utility feeds, it's possible to start a fire or explosion in a house by attacking it through Internet connected controls. Happy with it now?
Yeah. You know, it's just how you lead your life. You know, you can make sure that everything is just disconnected, and then you have no worries. But then again, you're not going to have a very good.
Well, yeah, but you can also ask yourself, do I really need this? And as a journalist, you know this. As a journalist, you decide if something is a story based on two deceptively short questions. The answers to these questions. The first question is, who cares? And if you can't tell me specifically who it is that needs this product, it's probably not going to go anywhere. And the other one is, why bother? How many times do you go to a press conference and say, we have a brand new way to accomplish this?
Why bother?
They hate seeing me there because I stand up and I say, look, and I just use this, I can use this, I can use this, or I can use this to do it. Why would I bother with yours?
And to which they reply what? To which they reply what? They don't answer. Okay.
No, after the house of cards topples, everybody leaves. They get nowhere. There's no coverage. But it's obvious they had a flawed plan to begin with. They didn't think about real users and real needs.
Well, because
that's where everything starts.
You can take it to the nth degree. I mean, you can have your refrigerator connected to the internet, and the idea is that when you're running low on milk, it'll let it know, and
they'll send the message off to Amazon, and they'll same day deliver your groceries without you even have to lift a finger. I like that.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
It's the future. We can do anything.
Amazon is getting more.
And will there be color sensors so it can look in your produce and check your drawer and find out the cheese is turning green?
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your cheese is turning stale. The Amazon in more cities now, they're offering same-day delivery service now for more and more, for over 1 million items. They just had 5 more cities they added to that list. So
it's logistics. Just like UPS likes to say, it's logistics. If you have a local distribution center, and Netflix is doing one of the same things. Our family has a favorite movie. I'm probably the only ones who like this movie. It's the Mystery Science 3000 treatment of Girl in Gold Boots.
Okay.
It's a terrible movie, but it's enormously funny. So I ordered it from Amazon, and I got this note back that said, normally we'd like to ship from our local distribution center, but our local distribution center didn't have this movie, so we're sending it from across country. In the meantime, we've released the next disc in your queue. Enjoy them both. Well, the next disc in my queue isn't available for another 2 weeks, so I had nothing until Girl in Gold Boots arrived today.
Yeah.
This whole business of logistics, of being closer to faster delivery, very appealing to customers because it feels rewarding not to have a delay to get that there. It's probably sooner than you could have gone to the store for it. And if there's no penalty and cost, you build a lot of loyalty for that service provider. It's like getting waited on hand and foot. It's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if it doesn't quite work or if it's not quite transparent, turn around and bite you in the rear end.
Yeah, it could. Well, so you
That's technology, brother.
So you're for the Internet of Things then?
I am. My view of the Internet of Things is with the Internet of Things, you can let trespassers into your house from anywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm. And
I don't like it.
You don't like it? Okay. Ben?
No.
I think it's a sucker play.
See, and I would have to go the opposite way because that just seems where things are going.
Oh boy, I have trends for you.
Oh, trends.
You want to go back into the history of computing and look at modula, the language of the future?
No.
That sounds like a rich history.
Trends only pay for good dinners for PR people. That's about all trends are about. Useful stuff gets more useful, you go for it.
Mm.
You don't buy things because you're told to buy things or because they're trendy or because they have some other attribute. You buy things because they're going to make the conditions of your life a little better. It's not about what's in the product. It's about what's in you. That's what makes people want things. The why to buy, as it's called.
Yeah.
So be careful about trends. They'll mislead you.
Well, Marty, listen, I want to thank you so much for being with us here tonight and saving us here.
Are you sure you can carry it for another 40 minutes on your own here, Craig?
Yeah, we have. Yes.
I feel like I've just been schooled.
Yeah.
I do. This interview, I feel like I've been schooled.
Yeah, I mean, so now if our tomorrow night's guest drops off, but we're covered, so hopefully Elio Motors will be on with us tomorrow. And it's just been one hellacious week.
On television, they have this thing called reruns.
Yeah, no, I know. We can't do reruns. We're live broadcast, so that's...
I put that forward and it was shot down handily, so... yeah.
I can give you the list of people who dropped out. You had Newegg, they canceled. Todo, they canceled. I mean, just one thing after another.
Delayed, not canceled.
They delayed, yes. They couldn't make it for this. So we've had like 4 guests pull out from us at the last possible moment. But anyway, look, Mike...
Well, Craig, it could be your mouthwash.
It could be. Marty, I want to thank you so much for being here with us. It's always illuminating. And, we will continue to play your News Tips Bulletin review. We got one coming up actually in a few minutes, and
which one?
We will think kindly of you. I don't know which one is it. It is the Withings blood pressure cuff. Says we're going to do.
Well,
yeah.
After tonight you'll need that.
Yeah, I think so.
Always fun, Craig. Thank you, Ben. The best.
All right, Marty. We'll
you.
catch you again. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
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 Bye.
All right, there he is, Marty Winston, again, News Tips Bulletin editor. He does our News Tips Bulletin reviews.
Greg, I just sent you a link.
Yes, I see the link. But before we get to the link, I want to do a couple of quick things that we need to do here on the show.
Okay.
First and foremost, I'll mention our Computer America contests are up and full swing. Head over to computeramerica.com, check out our Logitech contests, our Show Reminder Winner contests. All the rules are there. We give away some great prizes. Check them out and enter them. They're all free. They're all private. We give your contact info to no one unless you're a winner, and then we'll give them your contact info so they can mail you your prize. But that's pretty much it. The instructions are all there. Each one has its own set of rules. Just go to our contest. It's under the first pull-down menu. It says contest, and then you'll select the Show Reminder winner or the Logitech contest and enter any of those. Enter in all of them, and you'll have a lot of fun doing so. You might win something really, really nice, okay? Also, just want to let you know that our friends over at ProXPN, our limited special offer is almost over with them, and I do want you to take advantage of it. If you go to our homepage at computeramerica.com, you'll see, click here for a limited special offer right there on our homepage. Just click that, and it'll take you to the special page that we have set up. ProXPN, basically it's an open VPN system. Whenever you go online, you and your computer are probably in danger with the risk of your privacy being compromised, especially when you use an open Wi-Fi connection, like at a Starbucks or something. But even when you're at home, your internet service provider can monitor where you go, what you do, and if you do something that exceeds their guidelines, they can block whatever it is you may be doing. Okay? Even also looking at content from other countries, you're susceptible to being restricted too. That's very, very true. But they can't do that if they don't know who or where you are. And that's what ProXPN is all about.
Not quite. They can't do that if they think you're from America.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just obscuring where you are connecting from. It's tricking them to where you think they're signing in from.
Wait, because it's approximately they have open VPN. They're hosted in like Amsterdam and Singapore and London.
Exactly. So if you are, let's say you're in Singapore, but you can only watch something on YouTube that's for America, you can connect through their Dallas server,
right?
And bam, you're in.
Well, that's it. So it's because you actually can appear as though you're located in any of those cities. It does all that. See, ProXPN really is 100% secure. I use it on my computer. I know most of our staff uses it. The encryption key ProXPN uses is an impressive 2,048 bits. The encryption tunnel is 512 bits. All that means basically is that it protects you online and it protects your privacy the way the internet was. This is the way the internet was intended to be. Now, here's the thing: if you can use it on your iPhone 5S or 5, you can use it on your Android phone because ProXPN adds OpenVPN to Android, which it doesn't normally have, so you don't have to use PPTP. Of course, ProXPN will let you use PPTP if you like, because it supports that as well. That's point-to-point tunneling protocol. Bottom line is we want you to use this product because it's terrific. Okay, you can use it, and you can download it for free. That's it. But obviously, the premium version is so much faster and better. Okay. Now, normally it's just $10 a month or $75 a year, but if you enter in the code COMPAM, C-O-M-P-A-M, you'll get an additional 20% off any membership that you choose. And once you do that, it's good forever, not just the one time. So that's less than $5 a month when you go for the yearly plan. This is something you need in this day and age when you go online. And if you listen to the show and you hear Charles talk about these hacker horror stories, you're going to know that you need this. This is the best VPN that we've tried, and again, it's proxpn.com. You can use the promo code COMPAM. If you don't remember that, just go to our homepage at computeramerica.com and click on the ProXPN logo. It's right there. It'll take you to the page that tells you exactly what to do, and then it'll take you to the ProXPN website. Put in COMPAM. You'll see all the prices go down, 20% for any membership, and that'll be forever. Check it out. It's proxpn.com. It's not going to be much longer, so you need to do this now. Okay? All right, so Ben and I are going to do some computer and technology news. So you have some stories that you want to do. So let's start and let's do it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Tonight's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for free. You heard me right, Kimosabe. Free. Slimwareutilities.com. They're not freemium. They're not, use them for 5 days and then you have to pay us. It doesn't work that way. They're completely free, no obligation. Download them all because they will really help you to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system. They have backup software as well. It's all free. Check it out. Go there. Download them all and put them in your toolkit so when you need them, you'll have them. If you don't want to use them right away, but you should use them. They work in the background. Some utilities will work in the background too as well, so it'll just continue to keep everything optimized. Slimwareutilities.com. Download them all. You'll be happy that you did that, and you'll thank us for it. Slimwareutilities.com. So you wanted to start off with the story here, Ben?
Actually, no. We have like a minute before commercials, so I just wanted to direct your attention again to the link I sent you.
Yes, I see. It looks like rows and rows of A library. It looks like a library of some sort.
That is an Amazon distribution center.
Whoa, that is humongous.
They think Costco or Sam's Club.
Yeah.
Pick your poison.
Yeah.
And then multiply that by about 5 or 6.
Wow.
And then say all of that is all managed by robots.
And then and all that can get to you in the same day if you're in any of the supported cities.
From these distribution centers. I mean, these things are huge, monstrous, and completely organized. They're impressive to look at.
You're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, the Boost Radio Network, the IRN Radio Network. Another half hour coming up. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 120,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, Cover America Auto Care has announced revolutionary, inexpensive mechanical breakdown coverage that is now available to the general public to save consumers thousands on auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for drivers to call who own a vehicle that is less than 10 years old for a free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number is 800-483-2514. Drivers who are covered with this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair again. This is the auto coverage now sweeping across America at a fraction of what dealerships charge and is now available to the public by calling today. The number to call is 800-483-2514. 800-483-2514. That's 800-483-2514.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-866-663-MyTV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MyTV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV.
Greetings, this is Marty Winston for Computer America with a News Tips Bulletin review of the Withings wireless blood pressure monitor. We're going to see Withings again in another review, but right now we're looking at one of that new collection of wearable tech products with a difference. So many of them insist on supporting only iOS, that one of our first bits of daylight support Bluetooth 3 for Android 4 and higher devices, so their use isn't limited to that iStuff minority. The second grabber for us was their functionality. We're looking at the blood pressure monitor this time, their Pulse O2 soon, with whatever elements you have reporting to the same free app. Available on Android, available on iOS. The blood pressure monitor is a fully automatic inflating pressure cuff that reports systolic, diastolic, and heart rate to that app for both instant reading and automatic historical tracking. Once it's charged and paired, it's a no-brainer to use. Bottom line, the Withings wireless blood pressure monitor is just as useful for people who want to keep an eye on their routine blood pressure as for those who use blood pressure as a measure of the effectiveness of their exercise regimens. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. We are just getting into computer and technology news.
Yeah,
we had Marty Winston on for the first hour and a half about, and I can see why everyone in the industry knows him.
Why?
Because he knows everything. He knows everything and everyone, and very knowledgeable. Proud that we have him doing the
News tips.
News tip, bulletin reviews. Perfect. And yeah, you know what? I like the cut of that man's jib.
Yes.
I do. I don't know about you, but I like him.
No, he's a very. I've known him for quite some time. Evidently, a lot of people have known him for quite some time in the industry.
Everyone's known him for quite some time. I have not been in the industry, but I've known him since I was about 12. So yeah, we go back.
Okay.
Nope. I'm
No?
doing the first one.
You do the first one. Okay.
Actually, I'm doing the first two. There's some things about Twitch. Craig, do you know what Twitch is?
Yes, we talked about it many times.
We talked about it with Raptor.
Yes.
Twitch is a shoot-off of Justin TV, and we did an article last night about how Twitch is now their own entity, and
Right.
Justin TV is being dismembered, effective immediately. And the first thing I want to say is something lighthearted about Twitch TV, and that is you may not remember this, but Twitch ran a social experiment. Or
Yes.
at least one of the users did.
Oh.
It was called Twitch Plays Pokemon, where they took Pokemon Red and they modded the chat room for the live streaming of the game, and they made it so that any user that logged into the Twitch comments could say commands like up, down, left, right, B, A, and they could control the game, just like a normal Game Boy game. So you had at times about 200,000 people all shouting up, down, down, left, right, B, A, a second.
Yeah.
To say it was cluttered and almost impossible to control would be an understatement. But through that social experiment, a week later they powered through it and they actually completed the game using crowdsourced user inputs, and that was a big deal just because it was so new, so innovative. So now they have a little bit of an offshoot, which is Fish Plays Pokemon.
Okay.
Some gentleman in college has a small aquarium for a beta, for beta fish, Chinese fighting fish, what have you, and they have the webcam on him, and his fishbowl is separated into 9 different quadrants, and each quadrant is dedicated to the A and the B button, the start and select, and the 4 direction arrows, left, right, up, down, and then 1 left blank for unknown reasons. So apparently the fish has been playing Pokemon for about 140 hours now. It has gotten to about 3 minutes into the game if a person were playing it, but it's just Fish Plays Pokemon.
Okay.
It's a webcam, motion tracks the fins of the fish, and it tells it where the character in the game will go. And it's kind of funny, watching this fish, swim around and like you're rooting for it. It's like, oh no, top right, go left, fish, go left, and of course, the chat room just explodes. People are bad mouthing the fish because it doesn't know how to play. People are cheering for the fish, hoping it does it right. Giving it suggestions like the fish is actually reading the chat. It's actually fun to watch. So, comment.
I can think of better things to do with my time.
See, but the fish isn't doing anything with his time.
Yeah.
This is the better use of the fish's time.
Yeah.
Many people are hailing this move as the reason the internet was invented.
Okay.
So, obviously, let's see, the reason the internet was invented, the pinnacle of gaming, pick whatever hyperbole you want.
Yeah.
It's a good time to be alive.
Okay.
Play Pokemon.
Okay.
So that was the lighthearted Twitch story.
Okay.
Now there's a darker Twitch story.
Okay, go for it.
And the darker Twitch story involves Twitch's CEO, management, the higher ups and things like that. So you may have heard Twitch has been purchased by YouTube, which is owned by Google. So Google bought Twitch. And if you've ever been on Google, you know that they have an auto recognition software, that scans their videos for copyrighted images and copyrighted music. So let's say if you wanted to upload, music, 9 times out of 10, it'll be flagged and taken down automatically. And same thing. Like if you try to upload, a football game to YouTube, or if you try to upload a TV show to YouTube, it'll be automatically taken down because that's copyrighted material. Well, they tried to apply something similar to Twitch because they're getting ready for the new conversion from Twitch to YouTube, and they now have to comply with these standards.
Right.
So the problem though is that the images, from what the CEO has been telling everyone, the images are completely free to stream because video game companies enter into like some kind of agreement where they allow their games, the images of their games, completely free to use. So you can use them in advertising, you can use them, users can stream them, whatever you want to do with your video game, free to use, go for it. But the problem is they introduced a sound recognition program that isn't too good, and they've actually come to the point where they implemented it without really testing it. So they go over any past broadcast that is saved on the Twitch website, and they actually take out about hour or half-hour long segments of saved content. Let's say you're streaming a game and a Britney Spears song comes on in the background. It will recognize the song, mute everything in the video for half an hour, and then come back. When a person is streaming these games, they're usually talking, they're interacting, they're explaining, they're putting on kind of like a performance, while they're streaming the game. So, and a lot of people play games with music going on in the background, and it's actually gotten to the point where the software that they just put into Twitch actually picks up the sounds from the video games that they're actually streaming. Again, the games that, is the main thrust of the broadcast, and that the images are completely free to use, but it'll pick up like, the background music to video games, or it'll pick up, sound effects and things like that, and it'll actually block the sound. It'll take giant chunks of the sound out just because the background music of the game has been picked up and identified as copyrighted material.
This is Audible Magic. This is the technology of the company that
Exactly. And so, Twitch actually, the website Twitch actually has their own channel, and sections of their own videos that they have on their channel have been blocked by this exact program. Twitch has so poor planning of what they're doing that their own videos are getting taken down because it's identified it as copyrighted.
Well, is it copyrighted? And if it is, then they
Let's put it this way: it's never been a problem before.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it was right. Hey, listen, we didn't. We really didn't enforce the people, killing other people, but that doesn't mean that it's right. If you're breaking the law, and just because
it's not even breaking the law. They have songs nowadays where they're kind of like remixes, where songs enter the free to use. You can take sound bites, sample clips, what have you, and remix them, redub them, what have you. And they pick up the little snippets, and then they block out 30 minutes. They actually have people who have written, who have paid for, written, and have sent documentation in to show that they have the rights to use this song.
Okay, well then
they still get taken down.
If it's flawed, then there's a problem.
It is flawed to the point where Twitch, the most popular streaming platform on the internet, is no longer usable.
Okay, so are they taking it down?
What?
Are they going to stop doing this?
The CEO came on and said, we're working on it. We're working on it. We're working on it. They are
working on it.
One of the worst things about this is that they came out with it, and they came out with it unannounced. They sprung it on people, and they didn't say, "Hey, changes are coming." They just did it, and then all of a sudden, people's videos are no longer worthy of being watched because all the audio in it is just gone.
Okay, well, it's a problem, and they're going to have to work on it. Obviously, if I were them, I would have I would have tried it to see if it was going to cause problems rather than just dumping it out there.
The
like
foresight is so shoddy that when their own videos get taken down because copyrighted material is quote unquote being played,
Mhm.
and their own videos are subject to the same thing, it shows that they didn't plan this out at all.
So my prediction is that they're probably going to pull it down, reinstate everything.
That's just it, though. They won't. This is kind of being forced upon them by the new acquisition, by Google.
Well,
Google uses the same thing.
Then Google will kill the company. If they can't make it work, people are going to stop going to Twitch because of all this, and Google won't allow them to do it.
But we're not done yet.
What? Oh.
We're not done yet. What's worse is Twitch, being a gaming site, I don't know if you ever heard of this practice, but it's called speedruns. And speedruns are when you go through a video game and you try to do it as fast as possible.
Yeah. Okay.
And they have they do things. This is really big with the old school games, and they actually have marathons where people will try to speed run through an entire franchise. Zelda, what have you, and they'll broadcast for 7 days straight, and they'll try to beat Zelda in so long. They are chopping up all the high. Well, first of all, they're deleting all of the videos. Go ahead and back it up now because they're going to delete them off their servers. They're deleting all the videos that are past 3 weeks old.
Mm-hmm. 14, 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks, and it's like 60 days for subscribers or partners, but still going from we'll keep these forever to everything that's not 2 weeks old we're going to delete is a huge shift. I mean, people have built up their entire careers on this platform, and now all of their archives. Craig, this would be like if Computer America was hosted somewhere, and then they said, oh yeah, by the way, in about 48 hours, we're going to delete every single show that isn't from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like they're on the course of a disaster. Is that what
they're doing? So many things. It's like they want to just make everyone as mad as possible.
Yeah. Well, it's more than mad. Obviously, they're going to. And if Google is making them do it because they own the company.
And then the plot thickens. I know, Craig. I can hear your voice. Ben, let's change the subject. Let's go to something else. Not quite, Craig. We're not done yet. We're delving deeper into the rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
What's worse is there are only about 3 other reliable services that can handle this kind of content. Because let's face it, when you have 100,000 people, no, I say about 1 million people watching, and maybe about another 20 to 30,000 reliably streaming. That's a lot of bandwidth, video, upfront cost. There are only about 3 to 4 other companies that can actually handle that shift from Twitch TV to another platform.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them are a couple of companies. I won't say the names. But 2 of them are CEO'd by the same person, and this person is infamous for their involvement in esports, which we've talked about with Grayson Hamilton many, many times. It's the professional level of gaming. And this gentleman has scammed people many, many times. Like, he set up events, he refused to pay, and he's just outright stiffed people and, ruined people's careers. And now he's the CEO of 2 of the 4 possible streaming sites.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is okay, but it's a new startup, and no one really knows, how well it's going to go over. And then there's Twitch, which is just, blowing up before our eyes.
Why would Google do that to their own company? They acquired it, and now they're making them do things that is going to cause them to fail.
I've heard it said a couple times. It's weird that Google would want to waste $1 billion to buy Twitch and then enforce these rules on it. They say they're trying to do it in search of a fiscally responsible company. You don't want to buy a company, and it turns out it's just hemorrhaging money. But just the steps it's taking and the way it's doing it, they aren't going about it the right way, as if they want to say, hey, maybe we should turn this $1 billion into something.
Well, all I can see is that they continue to follow the path that they're taking, Twitch won't be around for very long. That's what it seems to me.
And sadly, that might be it. I mean, you know, even our good friends over at Raptor, they heavily invested in their platform of, you know, involving themselves with Twitch. You could, you know, they made it so, you know, they made it pretty much one button setup to broadcast to Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
And with these things, you know, half the content that users use Raptor for and send it to Twitch wouldn't even be allowed on Twitch anymore.
I can't imagine that they're going to continue in this path. I think the people who are making them do that are going to realize that they're only going to destroy the company, and they may make some sort of change that's going to prevent that from happening. Otherwise, if they don't, as a Twitch will be no more, and then that young upstart company will start.
I know it's really easy to say, you know, either they'll reverse their business practices or they'll go under, but it's harder when you realize that people really have built up their careers around this change.
Yeah.
And you know, and of course, I'm completely biased. I'll say that right now. I watch many people that stream to Twitch. Twitch is, you know, almost like another cable channel to me, and I love it dearly.
Mm-hmm.
It's just unfortunately going in such a direction that it's, you know, to put it in very simple terms, it's going like this. So, you know, I'm sure we'll get some more stories about it within the next week. Either they are going through with all their sweeping changes and everyone is so ticked off that they're going to pack their bags and go somewhere else, or they're you know, or they're going to try to recover this tailspin. But
they're going to
this has all been happening over like the last 2 days. So, you know, this is all breaking new, what have you.
All right. Well, we'll keep you informed with it, and hopefully they'll get it resolved, because I don't think you're gonna. I don't think you invest that kind of money in the company only to see and to put restrictions on it so bad that the company fails. I can't imagine them doing that. I guess we'll have to wait.
Yeah,
and see.
it's yeah, we'll wait and see.
We'll wait and see. All right, we'll keep you apprised of it. Okay. You remember how long it took you to with the Charms bar, and you tried it, and then you first didn't think you would like it, but then you liked it, and now you really do like the Charms bar in Windows, you know? Ben, I mean, you're a Charms bar. You use it, right?
I've never used it.
I thought you said you liked the Charms bar.
When?
Well, it must have been another Ben. I guess you were.
Must have been. Greg, are you cheating on me with another Ben?
Yeah, it must be. I remember you.
Sounds like it.
Well, evidently, Microsoft may ditch the Charms bar in Windows 9. Yeah, this is according to Paul Lilly.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. That was my point. To say something. Oh no.
What?
Oh, you know, they're ditching the Charms bar. Oh no.
It's only a matter of time before we see how much Microsoft learned from Windows 8 and 8.1 and the feedback it received from users. Windows 9, otherwise known as Threshold, will usher in a new era of Windows, and early indications point to a different design philosophy than the one that drew criticism in the current version of Windows. For example, one of the rumors floating around is that Windows 9 will get rid of the Charms bar. And according to winbeta.org, Windows 9 will be very different from Windows 8, with the desktop taking center stage once again. Yay. Part of that entails getting rid of the Charms bar, at least for the desktop version. There's a chance Microsoft will retain the Charm bar for tablets. They quoted saying, "We can confirm that Microsoft have been toying with the multiple different ways they could implement a new Charms menu, which is fluent and makes sense for mouse users. One method that we heard about that stands out is having a button up near the window controls that, once pressed, would reveal the search, shared devices, and settings charms from the top of the window. There's no need for a start button for desktop users in the Charms." Okay. Microsoft may also remove Charms altogether, although it gets a little complicated since a bunch of modern user interface apps depend on the Charms bar for certain features and functions. Okay. Well. So it may be there. It might go.
I think with Windows, the closer they get back to basics, the closer that they get back to Windows 7, while still keeping some of the great, the better features of Windows 8. Because Windows 8 did do something right. The live tiles and things like that, I think were actually pretty good. But the closer they get back to basics, the better Windows 9 will be.
Are you sure you didn't say that you liked the Charms Bar? It was an Office or something. I could have sworn you said that.
Office never had the Charms Bar.
No, but I mean Windows. It was the Charms Bar.
I've used it once or twice, but I never really, had extended use of it.
Where did I hear that? I could have sworn it was you. All right, well, there it is. So it had less impact because I thought you were the big Charms Bar aficionado.
No, not really.
Let's do this one story, quick last one here. That AMD is reportedly gearing up to sell Radeon-branded line of solid-state drives, which could become more competitive.
Wait.
What?
We have one that I've been putting off for 2 days. We need to get to it.
Oh, what is that?
Before it gets less and less relevant. After 10 years, Rosetta probe catches up with its comet destination. It's important.
All right, go ahead. Okay.
Now just 100 kilometers from the surface. Mm-hmm. So, this from yesterday, saying that the European Space Agency announced that the Rosetta mission successfully arrived at Comet 67P after a 10-year journey. As the probe approached over the past several weeks, it provided greater detail of the oddly shaped comet, which was venting water as its orbit drew it closer to the Sun. Now, at just 100 kilometers from the comet's surface, Rosetta is providing detailed images of truly otherworldly landscape. Earlier this year, Rosetta successfully woke from hibernation, and it's been imaging the comet during its approach. Early images indicated that the comet has two lobe structure, and it has been compared to a rubber ducky. So, since the initial approach, Rosetta has eased to within 100 kilometers of the surface and captured detailed images of a very foreign world, one by turn smooth and pockmarked. The comet has been spraying tiny bits of water into space, but the complex surface suggests a correspondingly complex history of activity. The comet is currently heading closer to the Sun, which may increase the venting over time. And why is this important? This is the first time a probe will ever land on a comet.
It's going to actually land on it?
It's going to get closer and closer. Right now it's 100 kilometers. It will get closer over the next several months. I think it's going to make landfall in October. And it's going to land and drill into the comet.
Is Bruce Willis on this so they can put a nuclear...
Not quite, but I think it's supposed to land, drill into it, take samples, and actually supposed to lift off the comet and bring the samples back to Earth.
That's a pretty ambitious...
And if you saw the picture of the trajectory the probe had to take to get there, this thing has circled the solar system about 8 times. Mm-hmm. And has circled around, like the math that must have went into this thing to go, trajectories and gravity and all that good stuff. This thing is just amazing. That's been spinning out there for 10 years and is now just about to make landfall.
Wow. Well, okay.
It's a feat of modern engineering.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. An impressive one at that. Hey, speaking of a modern, impressive feats of engineering, tomorrow we have Elio Motors is going to be on the show. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Elio, they have a vehicle that gets 80 miles per gallon, and it only costs $6,800. That's it. This is not like a $30,000. This is a car that costs $6,800, gets about 80 miles per gallon.
90 seconds.
This is going to be very, very cool. We're going to have
$6,800. I'll take 2.
Yeah, you really could. And still, I mean, it's an amazing device, and we're going to be talking about with the VP of Sales, Jerome Vesicito. He's going to be on the show for the first hour talking about this amazing little car. Again, and by the way, it's 3 wheels. It only has 3 wheels, but it's a car. It's enclosed. It's a vehicle. You know, it looks very, very
60
cool.
seconds.
And then, of course, in hour 2, we're going to have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And we'll have a little more time to do some more news stories. That about wraps it up. And, you know, we're starting to do, with news, we're trying to do things where Ben and I can have, you know, more interaction rather than just bringing news stories. And I kind of like that. So we're going to continue to do that and see how.
I thought that was the point all along, but apparently Craig has reached some kind of monumental shift. So please, it's a conversation. Call in or just listen to us bicker.
So until next time, tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. It's going to be Friday night. We'll see you then.
10 seconds.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
All right, everybody. Thanks again for watching and watching our Google Hangouts. And let's say goodnight to everybody in the chat room. Night. See you tomorrow. And thanks for watching. And hopefully Elio Motors will be with us tomorrow. And we'll break this last moment people. You know, if they're not going to be here, we're gonna have you already have it set up. Mike Riley is going to be here with us tomorrow night if Elio Motors can't make it. But hopefully Elio Motors will.
You're just planning for the worst case scenario, like right out the gate, aren't you?
Yeah, I have to. So, all right, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night. Bye.
Good night.